Shairose is our next speaker. She's speaking on Stop Running on Fumes: How High Performers Turn Pressure into Power. And this is a topic that's going to hit home for a lot of people because so many of us are doing things that are burning us out. So many entrepreneurs look successful on the outside, but inside we are running on fumes, running empty underneath. With more than 3 decades of experience across education, entrepreneurship, and business leadership, Kairos works with high performing leaders who are carrying real pressure and real responsibility. Her work brings together neuroscience, emotional intelligence, and nervous system regulation so that she can help people lead clearly, steadily, and sustainably. Today, she's going to be talking about helping us to rethink performance and resilience in a way that is more useful than just pushing harder.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Summer, for that warm intro. We'll just go on to the next slide. You're cruising down the highway. Music is up, speed is steady. Then a warning light flashes. You ignore it. You've got places to be. A few miles later, another light. The tank's almost empty. Still, you push on because that's what high performers do. Then comes the smoke, billowing. Something under the hood is burning. And suddenly, you're stranded on the side of the road, hazards on, and wondering, how did I get here? If you think I'm talking about your car, I'm not. I'm talking about you. You weren't built to break down. So why does it feel like you're constantly running on fumes? Because this isn't just your experience. It's systematic. If you've ever felt like you were running on fumes, drop a flame emoji in the chat or simply type fire. Nearly 77% of entrepreneurs and business leaders report burnout, and the World Health Organization classifies burnout as an occupational phenomenon. Chronic stress impacts your memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation. So if you've been feeling this, it's not a weakness. It's your nervous system under constant load. High performers don't collapse overnight. Burnout happens the same way engines fail: heat, pressure, neglected maintenance. Your mind keeps pushing, but your nervous system absorbs the cost. Slide. Let me show you what that looks like in real life. As an entrepreneur, a few years back, in our cafe, we had a day when our crepe master didn't show up. The pressure hit instantly. There were customers waiting. Crepes were being rung up. There was no backup. There was no time to think. And that's the moment most leaders feel the spike. Fix it fast, panic quietly, or just hope, pray it resolves. When you're under pressure, what mode do you go into? Please type either fight, flight, or freeze in the chat to show what you do when you get under pressure. If you said fight, you might feel tension, urgency, a need to take control. If you said flight, you might feel restless, distracted, almost wanting to avoid or escape. You know, when you feel like, I wish the ground would just break open and swallow me up. You just don't want to be there. And if you said freeze, you might feel stuck, heavy, and unsure what to do next. And you know what? These are all real responses because this is your nervous system doing its job. And the goal isn't to get rid of the pressure. The first step in dealing with pressure is to recognize it and then regulate it. And then you have the opportunity to lead through it. A simple pause can make a difference. A single deep breath can make a difference. What that does, it helps regulate your body and shift you from reactive to reflective in the moments that matter. When you're in pressure, your threat system thinks there's something bad going on, that you're in danger. When you take a deep breath and you take that pause, you literally tell your brain to tell your body, you're okay, you're safe. you're going to be fine. And when you do that, when your brain tells your body it's okay, you're going to do fine, your clarity increases. You can think clearly and make those decisions in that moment that are going to serve you. Because in pressure, your power isn't in eliminating that response. It's in what you do next that will make all the difference. So in the cafe that morning, instead of panicking, my husband and I chose just to ground ourselves. We slowed our breath, we regulated our body, and sure enough, clarity came back online. And we knew in as clear as day what we had to do next. Not perfection, but prioritization. And so what we did was we stepped in the front line, and Arif and I started making crepes for the first time. They weren't round or perfect, but they were imperfect and real. And the customers, they were happy because they didn't need perfection. They needed continuity. They wanted their crepes. So that's what I understood about resilience. It isn't about removing pressure. It's about regulating yourself so you can lead clearly within it. And when you're in chronic overdrive, you keep pushing, even when your body is signaling fatigue, because that's what high performers do. But your body is designed for two things: stress and recovery. You activate and then you reset. Guess what, though? Most people ignore the recovery and resetting part. Next slide. And this is where allostatic load builds. What's allostatic load? That's the cumulative wear and tear on your body and brain from chronic, unrecovered stress. Yeah, there's such a thing. When that stress doesn't get a chance to rest, recover, and recalibrate, it builds. It creates an allostatic load. And your body is designed to handle the stress if you give it time. When something challenging happens, your system activates. Your heart rate goes up. Your cholesterol rises. Cortisol rises. Sorry, not cholesterol, though that could happen too. Your focus sharpens. You deal with the situation. Then your body is supposed to come back down. Remember, you feel that adrenaline right up here? But you need to now come back down and you need to recover. And if you follow this cycle, that process is healthy. Allostatic load happens when you don't come back down. Instead, you stay on. How many of you have ever felt that you can't turn yourself off? That the load or the pressure you're carrying is just always there? Type on in the chat. That's pressure after pressure, decision after decision, emotion after emotion, with little or no recovery in between. And when that happens, your body, your pressure is not working for you, it's working against you. Sustainable performance isn't about pushing harder. It's about building capacity. As Satya Nadella, who reshaped Microsoft's culture and performance, said, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And that's where your power is. That's where resilience takes that pressure and turns it into power. Pressure doesn't wait for perfect conditions, and leadership doesn't either. Remember my crepe example? We could have just said, okay, no more crepes for today. But that wasn't going to solve the problem going onward. Our crepe master had quit without notice. So we had to make a decision. And it's not a perfect condition in which we had to deal with it. A similar situation happened soon after COVID, when our landlord asked us if we wanted to renew our lease. My husband and I had already done the analysis. The numbers were clear. The environment where the cafe was had drastically changed, and continuing wasn't the right business decision. But the pressure in that wasn't strategic, it was emotional. We had vested blood, sweat, and tears into this concept. And walking away from something we had built from the ground up was really hard. Have you ever known the right decision that you had to make in life, but it still felt incredibly hard? Write hard in the chat. Because this is the moment every leader faces. Do you hold on, or do you act on something you already know in your heart is the right thing to do? So we chose to act. We stepped away instead of prolonging the uncertainty. And that moment strengthened the work I do today. I look at resilience differently because resilience isn't just about endurance. It's the ability to turn pressure into power by making disciplined, forward-looking decisions even when they're hard. Resilience is having the strength to release what no longer works, even when it's part of your identity. And our cafe was very much a part of my identity. But why does that matter? It matters because it shows you that you can make an impact even when things don't go the way you wish it to do. By making that right business decision, I made an impact. As Jeff Bezos, who built one of the most influential companies in the world, said, most decisions should probably be made with somewhere around 70% of the information you wish you had. Because if you wait for certainty, you stay stuck. If we had renewed that lease, we could have been stuck. I know we would have been stuck. So resilience isn't just staying power. It's knowing when to move and when to let go. Something leaders underestimate is also their state of pressure, how they show up, and the state of your pressure spreads. It's contagious. If you're anxious, your team feels it. If you're grounded, they stabilize. Leadership isn't just about what you say, it truly is how you show up, the energy you bring into the room. It's the state that you bring to everyone around you. It matters. And this idea isn't new. His Eleanor Roosevelt, one of the most influential leaders and thinkers of her time, said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. Now think about that. Isn't that what resilience is really all about? It's not about avoiding pressure. It's not about pushing through blindly, but it's really about turning toward it, facing it with presence, awareness, and control. And when you do that, you don't just manage pressure, you transform it into stability, clarity, and confidence for everyone around you. And that's the shift. That's the work. So when you feel like you are running on fumes, you don't need to slow down. You need a tune-up. You need precision maintenance, regulation, recovery. Because building a business, leading teams, and making decisions will create pressure. Pressure is inevitable. But when you learn how to carry it well, it strengthens your clarity, your resilience, and your leadership. In closing, Billie Jean King, one of the greatest athletes of all time, said, pressure is a privilege. And she's right, because pressure can be very motivating. It helps us to have drive. Sometimes it's the secret sauce in us achieving our greatest dreams. We need the pressure, and it is a privilege. But here's the part we don't often talk about. It's only a privilege when we have the capacity to handle it. Otherwise, it becomes a liability. Resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It's Viktor Frankl, who survived unimaginable conditions and dedicated his life to understanding human resilience. He said, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space is our power to choose our response. That's powerful. No matter what life throws at us, we still have the power to choose our response. And in that space is where your power lives. So thank you for listening to my part of the presentation. I'm going to go to the VIP gift. I really, really want to support the aligned entrepreneur participants who are ready to go deeper. And I'm offering a complimentary group coaching circle called the Aligned Resilience Circle. And why did I choose a circle? Because I know I have seen the magic when we come together in community and we share our challenges, our pressure points, what we did, how we felt, what worked, what didn't. There's magic because it really, really helps one another to say, we're not alone in this. There is nothing wrong with us. And that pressure is something real and manageable. And together we can take control of it because we know resilience is how pressure becomes our power. So we will, in this live session, learn to stop running on fumes and recover our energy, strengthen resilience and decision-making, expand your capacity without sacrificing well-being. When I see so much of my clients doing just that, always on. It's exhausting. And then leading with clarity and steadiness. So you can send me a LinkedIn message and include your name, your email, and the word aligned, and I'll send a personal reply when we do the next circle. Any questions?
Was incredible. One thing I would love you to do is put your LinkedIn in the chat so that people can click it and follow you or connect with you.
Absolutely.
Floor is open to questions. We have time for 2 or 3 questions or shares. How did you feel about Shairose and this topic?
She has such a soothing voice, right?
Yes. Share, Jessica.
I just want to say that I appreciated the tone and I felt calmer just listening to you talk. I don't know about all of the rest of the fancy things. I just know I felt the energy of the calm. So that was good, right?
Thank you. Yep, that was part of the charm, I hope.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for this wonderful talk. This will go on to the VIP panel very soon, by the end of the day or by morning tomorrow.